What if I told you that there was a time when Europeans didn't just study Egyptian mummies? They ate them, painted with them, and sold them by the pound. And as crazy as it sounds, this was normal at the time. And Europe's obsession with mummies would leave Egypt looted, entire ancient burial sites completely empty, and countless human bodies consumed. We gotta talk about Europe's crazy obsession with mummified bodies. Ancient medical texts describe a substance known as mummia, a thick black substance more commonly known as bitumen. It quickly became a popular medicine all over Europe, and it was used to treat almost everything. But supply was limited and demand was high. Europeans also had the false belief that Egyptian mummies were mummified using bitumen, which they believed is what made the skin of the mummies turn black, which wasn't true. But this misconception is actually where the term mummy came from. And if you've been paying attention, I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. By the Renaissance period, a new medicine was taking over. Pharmacies across Europe sold powdered mummy as the new miracle drug. It was marketed as a new source of mummia and the key to perfect health, when in reality, it was just cannibalism with fancy marketing. Doctors prescribed it for everything. Internal bleeding, try powdered mummy. Concussions, drink some mummy. Epilepsy, more mummy. Tuberculosis, the plague, even poisonings. Mummy can cure that too. Look at that. It was mixed into wine, syrups, and ointments. And the darker and older the body, the more powerful it was believed to be. Egypt became a corpse mine. Entire tombs were empty. Burial sites were left destroyed. And Europe was shipping mummies by the ton. That's not even the craziest part. Egypt obviously doesn't have an infinite supply of mummies. So when they started running low, suppliers improvised in the worst way. Bodies of executed criminals, slaves, and poor people nobody would miss were artificially dried, darkened, and sold as Egyptian mummies. Buyers either had no idea or they didn't really care. Europe was turning human bodies into human medicine. This obsession was deeper than just cannibalism though. Wealthy Europeans hosted mummy unwrapping parties like it was the Super Bowl. People bought tickets and cheered. They took souvenirs and watched ancient remains get ripped apart just for fun. Artists played a big part in this too. There was a popular new pigment called mummy brown, a smooth, warm brown used in fine art. Can you guess what was in it? Human bones, human skin, and actual mummified remains. All of this happened at a time when the public barely knew what ingredients were in the food they ate. So it was a while before some artists even found out what it was made from. Some painters were disgusted when they found out, with one artist going as far as holding a funeral service for his remaining tubes of mummy brown. Others shrugged and kept painting landscapes with somebody's ancestors. And the craziest part about all of this is, mummy brown was in production all the way up until 1964, when the last major supplier, named C. Robertson in London, said they finally ran out of mummies. Even though traditional mummy brown disappeared after that, modern versions called asphaltum or similar names exist, now with 100% less mummified ancestors. So when people talk about ancient curses that protect burial sites, that's not what you should be afraid of. The real darkness didn't come from what was buried in the tombs. It was what Europe did after they opened them. But that's gonna do it for today's episode. I'm Quality. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe to the Kno Lodge, because we will be dropping gems for y'all on a regular basis, alright? Till next time. Peace.